The court has found Najib Abdul Razak guilty on 25 charges in the 1MDB case. Meanwhile, PAS said it is ready to face by-elections or state polls for Perlis. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. The High Court has found former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak guilty on all 4 counts of abuse of power and all 21 money laundering charges linked to the 1MDB scandal. Presiding Judge Collin Lawrence Sequerah said the court found the prosecution had proven its case against Najib beyond reasonable doubt. Sequerah had previously presided over the trial at the High Court but has since been elevated to the Federal Court. Najib faces 4 charges of using his position to obtain gratification totaling 2.3 billion ringgit of 1MDB funds between February 24, 2011 and December 19, 2014 at the M Islamic Bank branch on Jalan Raja Chulan in Bukit Selon. The charges were framed under Section 23(1) of the MACC Act 2009, which is punishable with 20 years imprisonment and a fine of either 5 times the amount of the bribe or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher, upon conviction. For the 21 money laundering charges, he was accused of committing the offense at the same bank between March 22, 2013 and August 30, 2013. These charges were framed under Section 4(1)(a) of the Anti-Money Laundering and Anti-Terrorism Financing Act, which provides a maximum fine of 5 million ringgit and imprisonment of up to 5 years, or both. Najib was sentenced to 15 years of imprisonment for each of his 4 charges of abuse of power in the 1MDB case, and 5 years each for the 21 charges of money laundering. Sequerah ordered that the jail terms run concurrently, meaning Najib would only have to serve 15 years imprisonment, which will begin after he concludes his current imprisonment for the SRC International case. He was also ordered to pay a total fine of 11.4 billion ringgit for the 4 abuse of power offenses. In default of payment, he would have to serve an additional jail term of up to 40 years. Earlier during the proceedings, Presiding Judge Collin Lawrence Sequerah had dismissed any suggestions that Najib was unaware of the 1MDB embezzlement. He stated that the former Prime Minister was no country bumpkin who could feign ignorance of what was taking place. He said this while reading out his analysis of the prosecution witnesses' evidence, including testimony that the government guarantee issued for 1MDB in 2013 was rushed at Najib's instruction, and that the process was unprecedented and supported by minimal documentation. Sequerah added the accused was no country bumpkin, but was possessed of not only an impeccable family and political pedigree, but of superior intelligence. He said this is given his academic background, his previous experience in politics and in the administration, not only regionally, but also on a national level. The judge also set out his findings on several aspects of Najib's defense, including the claim that he never instructed his officers to lodge any report on the alleged embezzlement at 1MDB. He also pointed out that the accused conceded that he never lodged any report to say that his signature had been on certain forged documents.
From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
Shukri Ramli has resigned from his post as Perlis Menteri Besar. He submitted his resignation letter to the Raja of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Putra Jamaluleo, yesterday. However, he said he is still waiting for a response from the state ruler regarding the status of his position. At a press conference, Shukri informed that he was granted an audience with His Royal Highness in the afternoon and had expressed his intention to resign as Menteri Besar due to his health. He expressed his gratitude to the Perlis government administration, those who have given his people and him a lot of cooperation. Sequerah's resignation followed the State Assembly Speaker's announcement that 3 state seats, Chuping, Bintong, and Guarsanji, were vacated following the membership termination of their assembly persons. Responding to this, Sequerah, who is also the Sanglang assembly person, said the 3 former PAS party members' action amounted to a betrayal and that their move was described as a coordinated one. When asked about his replacement, Sequerah emphasized that his successor should come from PAS, as it holds the majority. He added that he was not disappointed by what had happened, saying it was due to his own nature of being too kind and valuing friendships.
Kita bersedia untuk PRK. Sekarang ni dah itulah. Dah 3 adun tu dah tubuh. Nak tubuh kerajaan macam mana dah tubuh. Perlis ni dia 15 kursi dia. Sekarang 15 lah. Jadi kita ada 6. Satu ada 5. Kalau tubuh kerajaan nak itu macam mana? Tapi nak mereka pun boleh. Selangor pun kalau saya balik jadi menteri besar dengan 4 orang esko ni pun boleh nak buat begitu. Kita bersedia. Wilayah kecil bukan kita bersedia nak buat untuk tiga ni. Wilayah negeri pun kita bersedia. Kita bersedia.
This was the comment by PAS President Abdul Hadi Awang about the current political crisis in Perlis that led to the resignation of Menteri Besar Sequerah Ramli. In a video uploaded on YouTube, Hadi said PAS had weathered various political challenges in the past, including the collapse of state governments due to votes of no confidence and defections by elected representatives. He said these developments were tests for the party and stressed that PAS remains committed to the principles of loyalty and party discipline. Hadi also said that issues involving several projects in Perlis were among the factors that triggered the crisis. He alleged that there were too many projects that did not comply with regulations and that corruption was involved. According to him, Sequerah was unable to go along with the situation, and when the pressure intensified, the party had no choice but to take action. However, the Marang MP did not elaborate on which major projects he was referring to.
If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe.
A PAS member has called on Bersatu to take firm and immediate action against 5 of its Perlis assembly persons who were accused of signing statutory declarations to withdraw support for the State Menteri Besar. PAS Central Information Committee member Nurul Islam Yusof said the Perlis political crisis erupted following reports that 8 state assembly persons, 5 from Bersatu and 3 from PAS, had withdrawn their backing for Sequerah as MB. In a statement, he said PAS had summoned its 3 assembly persons and, based on their own admissions, taken disciplinary action against them. Their party memberships were terminated with immediate effect under Clause 15A of the PAS Constitution. As a result, he added, their seats were automatically vacated in accordance with Article 50A, Bracket 1, Bracket A, Bracket 2 of the Perlis State Constitution. Nurul Islam said Bersatu should likewise summon its 5 assembly persons to determine whether they had signed the SDs. If they had not, he said Bersatu should immediately issue a statement clarifying the matter and reaffirming its continued support for Sequerah and the Perlis state government. However, he stressed that if the 5 had indeed signed the SDs, Bersatu must act decisively. Failure to do so, he said it would send the wrong signal and be seen as undermining unity within Perikatan Nasional. He added that inaction would reflect weakness in Bersatu's leadership and discipline. Housing and Local Government Minister Nga Korming stressed today that urban cleanliness was a joint responsibility and not solely the government's or local authorities' duty. According to Bernama, he also expressed his disappointment that some people still litter, especially in city centers and public areas. He said Malaysia is progressing towards being a developed country and will hold Visit Malaysia 2026, but irresponsible attitudes like this tarnish a city's image and the country's reputation in general and among tourists. He said his ministry, through the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Corporation and local authorities, is committed to conducting cleaning work and continuous enforcement, but success depends on public awareness and cooperation. Nga added that stiffer action would be imposed on those who litter in public areas from January 1st next year, including fines of up to 2,000 ringgit. Besides fines, additional penalties such as community service of a maximum of 12 hours in 6 months can be imposed. He said this approach was aimed at educating the public to be more disciplined and responsible towards the environment. He also urged all parties to respect public areas during any festivities or activities by throwing trash into garbage cans, and to obey the law to ensure clean, comfortable, and orderly cities for all. Earlier, Nga had posted several photos of litter in KL after Christmas. In his post, he said it is already the 21st century and there is no reason for anyone to simply throw rubbish in public places. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.